This is basic logic as it relates to cell phones, laptops, what have you. Not that I need to defend what I know to be true, because everything that I share on this phone is based on what I experience. And when I experience, then experience is the teacher. I'm being informed of the truth because the one I serve is the one that is letting me know, which is the eternal Adams. It's still pointing up a true vacuum. So when I use the phone to share with other people what I've learned, whether it's in a text window, I do my best to limit the amount of time, the electrical power. Because the truth is base 12 is powering base 10. Okay. All your data collection services to the intelligence agencies, they know this. Many of them will tell you the truth. They're losing power. They cannot replenish the electrical power in their own living cells. What does that tell you using basic logic? They're running out of electrical power. They cannot replenish themselves. That means they do not have a direct DC connection with the primal eternal sound field of crystal, a crystal spiral, the eternal one, the eternal sacred one. That's basic logic. That's why we're here. That's what a salvage mission is. That's what the bioregenesis program is all about. And if you remember through other files, I'm not going to go repeating through that, okay, about, if you will, agreements or contracts and treaties to live in co-peace and co-prosperity. And then when the gauntlet is thrown down and a declaration is made of unrestricted spiritual, radiological, neurological, biological, and chemical warfare, that's the battlefield. Okay? And so the phones are weaponized. I mean, that's why I have a shungite on the back of this phone. That's why I'm getting dirty radiation right now just using this phone. Okay, so I go out many, many times throughout the course of a 24-hour period, what I call reboot, recalibrate, which is recover the speed by virtue of what's being lost in the tribal shield. Because we're communicating with each other using the ownership labels of their communication system because they're the ones that rolled it out. Okay? You know? And so we're back to awareness levels and learning speed, learning through spirit. Just like I shared the files of what I learned when I was at the University of Arkansas, bifurcation. Learning through machines cuts their learning speed in half cycles, so they're breathing in half cycles because their mind's energy is held captive by something that will never love them forever. But the eternal God seed Adam loves us all forever. And that's reestablishing your God seed connection to experience breathing the primal sound and light field. Now your heart is being recharged naturally, and your cells are being replenished through God source, the source field of all electrical power. That's basic logic. That's why we're here. To restore power. Your inner throne, your inner heart is the most powerful source of electrical power, the spin. And learning how to heal yourself. Right? So, recalibration is recovery. It's to recover what's been lost when I use a phone. Just like a couple of days, for example, I noticed it the other day. It was I have to recharge that phone faster. And you see how this works with your electric bill because we're having to pay the electric bill. There's an electric bill that goes to the property owner every month. Okay? And so what happens? Now, our electrical power, the tribal shield electrical power, is now sending a number to the number system, the system that is killing numbers. That's the game trap experiment. That's a qubit, a trash compactor, compressing nucleotides, right? To experience being more magnetic than electrical. And that generates an enormous amount of non-stability. So the grid is not stable because base 10 is not base 12. Breathing 222 is not breathing 333 or breathing 3 spheres. The brilliance of a triangle, silver and gold. That was a function of repair codes. The original codex of 15D and the Sacred Heart encryption of God Source. Protect your heart from being hijacked by code transfers. And that's known as assimilation codes. Now their vehicle, their earth vessel, has been hijacked. And now they don't remember. The first Adam, Adam Amareya, Earth Ark. Because of blank slate memory wipe technology. That's why we're here. That's a cosmic clock reset. Reset the timers. Reset the clocks. Reset the speed. Back to no time. Zero. No power. Now we're in love and service to others. Now we're electron donors. That's the purpose of an electron. That's the eternal sun, is the one I love, which is the one I am. The love to give all my power away, to experience no power. And that is to experience the eternal spirit of fire, which is the eternal spirit of light. And that is a shield. So love is protection. Because love is creation. The grand creator spirit is the one I love forever and always on duty. So love is a shield. And love is healing. And that's what we do. That's why we're here. Is to restore the memories. In our cellular communication codes. The first antenna. The core. Keep it simple. So that was cool that Gina Colvin Hill and her channel echoed that. Don't look at the phone. Don't look at the phone. You're losing power. So there's some days when I look at the phone and I realize, hey, I only use the phone for a shorter period of time this time. And I was on the phone for roughly the same period of time the other day. But now I'm having to pay more. Even though you look at the time difference, the spin, the capacitance. That system is not an eternal capacitor because it's finite. So now you're into relationships, and why would we choose to have a relationship with a finite system? It can't replenish itself. And what is the result of that? Well, that becomes a known. And that known is called Bardo. I know it when you become aware of it. So in other words, a star is letting me know. A galaxy is letting me know. The one that is letting me know, the eternal one, is letting me know what's going on. Antennas communicating with other antennas. Translate the signal. What are we learning? Wow. Right? Black hole. The shadow over the planet. Right? And so I just use basic logic. The logic of water. It's the logic of memory. Restoring our memory to experience the one. And that's healing every living organism, because every living cell, which is every living life form, is eternally sacred, eternally born spirits, experiencing pure, eternal, absolute love. That's basic logic. That's what I am. That's my identity. That's the real ID. The first ID, the first communicator, the first sign, the first electron donor. The eternal spirit of pure, eternal, absolute love that loves us all, equally sharing what I am, which is what love is. And that is the most powerful catalyst that pulls us all together into the core to experience the core, the absolute core of all creation is elemental union with God Source, the eternal seed atom, the first pressure wave, the crystal spiral, the crystal core, the K factor, like plus. Add another creation into creation. It's made manifest into creation, born out of pure, eternal, absolute love. That's basic logic. Mirrors. What color's our mirror? I know. Anyway, y'all have a beautiful day now. Aya ya mama. Muave aya. Zalu kale aya.